Hi everyone. Yesterday we had the verdict. Casey Anthony not guilty of killing her daughter Caylee Anthony. Today we've had the reactions. Yesterday I got after Nancy Grace for her over-the-top reaction, and today Harvey Levin of TMZ put it very well. He said that if Nancy Grace acted in public like she did on a TV show, she'd be arrested for 5150. That means she'll be arrested for being nuts in public. Okay? Classic Harvey Levin. Absolutely right. Some of you say that it takes me a long time to make my point. Not this time. Here's my point. First of all, we don't know who the father of Caylee Anthony is. We know that Mr. Gunn said heroically, I'll be the father, but apparently Casey Anthony didn't want any parts of this guy, so he's an ex. But no one talks about the fact that this kid was born without a listed father. Now, here's my other point. Maybe that's because the father was George Anthony. Ta-da! Think maybe that was the case? Did anyone bother to test for that? Do you think maybe that, on top of that, maybe Casey Anthony's mother, Cindy, accidentally drowned Caylee Anthony? And then the whole family got together and said, what do we do in those days that went before the 911 call was actually made, and plotted an approach that, if it went well, would get them all off scot-free? Ah, yeah, now you're starting to get a look at things, right? It's very important to question what society brings to you. It's very important to say, you know what? I don't believe what you're telling me, because we don't have a lot of information. The verdict proves that we don't have a lot of information. All it proves as well is we're dealing with a family that can be described in this way. One big question mark. Ding! That's it. That's what we know. We don't know a lot. Okay? So, we also have Cindy Anthony. People say Casey Anthony lies, but look at Cindy Anthony, right? But no one talks about sending her to jail. Okay, the perjury was mentioned, but that question wasn't brought to an absolute close. Will she be tried for perjury? Doesn't look like it. But we call Casey Anthony's a big liar. But isn't it possible that Cindy Anthony was lying in all this too? And what about George? Wasn't he acting? George being her Casey Anthony's father. All right? I believe this family got together and said, oh my God, we don't want to go to jail. What do we do? And the reason why you had Casey Anthony dancing is because she knew she had the full support of her family. She was out. She could live her life. And she was sad that her daughter was gone. There was nothing she could do. She grieved. But this was her way of escaping. And she escaped from something that wasn't her fault. Was her parents' fault. And she was just made kind of crazy about it. That's what I believe. And I'll tell you why I believe it. Because there's not enough evidence to prove that Casey Anthony killed her daughter Caylee. It's not there. And you know what? You're never going to find it. Because it's not there. But all that aside, again, my central point. Where is the father? That's the mysterious part of all this. Who's the father? I think it's George. I think it's George. Prove me wrong.